bartender Aaron Heisler. Musical guest, the legendary Peter Mark Savage. House band, the Speshies. And your hosts, Stacey, Hallal, and Jayne Flewelling.
Hello! It's nice to see you all. Give yourselves a round of applause.
Yes.
Because you're the smartest people in Portland because you're here right now on 420, no less.
420!
It's a national holiday in Portland.
It is. It is.
How is it a national holiday if it's just Portland?
It makes sense on 420.
You got me there!
Come on, dude.
Jay, you've been away.
I've been in Florida. Give it up for Florida. No, just don't. Yeah, no. I've been in Florida. It's been great. Yeah, I got in this morning.
Wow.
/
amazing.
this afternoon, yeah.
And I haven't been here for a couple weeks, so I'm super excited to be back.
It's like I don't even know you.
I know. We have so much to catch up on. So let's do these jokes.
Let's
and then
jump
we'll
in. Let's
chat.
jump in. Okay.
So the Mueller report came out. The Mueller.
Well, you've been gone.
The Bueller report
Yeah.
came out this week.
He skipped school. He
Ben
skipped school.
Stein
Yeah.
says.
Yeah.
The Mueller report came out this week, and it had more edits than a Christian school performance of the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
That's a lot. That's a lot. Yeah.
In the report, it outlined at least 10 instances of obstruction of justice that could be pursued if Trump weren't president of the United States. Trump unveiled a new slogan, though, for his campaign, Trump 2020, 4 more years or 5 to 10.
Oh! Well, a rector. Yeah, we can applaud for that. We can applaud for that, yeah. A rector at Notre Dame, a cathedral in Paris, France, we all know it, we all love it, said that reporters, it might be on Friday, that a computer glitch might have actually been responsible for centuries of this building being on fire. And IT experts noted that the virus software hadn't been updated since the Renaissance.
So, yeah, it was old.
Yeah, real
It was old, you
real
guys.
old.
The entire Boeing 737 MAX fleet has been grounded since March 13th, with planes taking up storage lots, runways, and spilling out onto landing strips. When asked about this problem, Joe Biden said, quote, well, that's why what'd you say about spilling out onto landing strips?
Oh.
He's creepy.
He always was. All right, so this week was the much anticipated tax week. Who did their taxes? Woo! Okay, well, for those of you who didn't remember to pay your arts tax, here is a breakdown.
Ooh.
All right, so
Oh,
it's just a whole bunch of things about a unicyclist from with a bagpipe. Yeah, so you get it. You
It
get it.
just says that over and over.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's where all your art tax money goes to that guy.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah.
It's a lot of propane. There's a lot of propane in that bagpipe.
That's right.
Funding.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Well, according to court documents obtained by CNN,
Thank you, Kendall.
Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt have been granted a dissolution in status of their marriage. It's finally over, which means Hollywood is about to do a lot of fucking.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. Well, speaking of fucking, the website that you hide quickly when your mom comes in, Pornhub, it started a campaign to save the bees by producing videos where if you watch them, then bee-saving charities will get money. Now, unfortunately, you will also get spam on how to make your stinger 10 inches longer. Yeah, okay, so.
I don't know why this is what I think of with a 10-inch stinger. I guess it got me excited.
Ouch.
And after they sting, they die.
Don't put on the anti-itch cream.
So, speaking of breakups, the NRA and their PR firm of 40 years are also breaking up, and it's getting very, very ugly. The NRA is suing the firm for denying access to certain records and for leaving the gun organization nearly bankrupt. Apparently, the only thing that can stop a corrupt organization with a gun is a corrupt PR firm with an invoice.
That's a thinker.
Well,
We have all the time, you think about it.
Yeah.
Well, it is Portland Pizza Week. Who's had some pizza? Who's had some za? Yeah. Well, it's Portland Pizza Week, and a local man has announced that he's going to attempt to eat all 45 slices of pizza in just 5 days. And this Herculean feat is sponsored by seasonal depression and regular depression.
Portland springtime! An updated agreement between the Timbers and the neighborhood associations around the stadium would permanently prevent Portland Timbers fans from lining up and camping out more than 24 hours before games. According to the neighborhood association, it wasn't the noise that bothered us so much as them shitting in our yards.
Yeah.
So I live near Wrigley Field. It's real, yeah.
Well, a dog is in good spirits after surviving being stranded for stranded out 135 miles out to sea in the Gulf of Thailand. Now, the dog was immediately scouted by the American Olympic swim team, but later dropped after he was tested positive for steroids. So. So close. He was close. He was close, yeah.
The New York Yankees have stopped playing Kate Smith's 1939 version of God Bless America after they found out that she also recorded some incredibly racist songs from that era. The Yankees apologized and said, hey, everybody, just come out to our next home game. You'll love it. The pitch is going to be thrown out by Mel Gibson.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Well, new research suggests that families should not give their children iPads to keep them occupied during meals. However, findings have also been challenged by a very vocal opposition group known as Every Person Who Wanted to Have a Peaceful Meal in a Restaurant.
Yeah, I want to sign up for that.
Yeah,
That's good for me. Coming up next, Carl's Jr. announced this week. This is a 420 relevant joke. They will sell a CBD-infused cheeseburger called the Rocky Mountain High. It's true.
Yeah.
The item was originally named Thousands of Black People Are Still in Jail for Weed Possession.
Yeah. It didn't.
Burger. But they dropped the name after the predominantly white focus group said, we don't want to think about that when we're hungry.
Yeah.
Or really ever, because we're white.
It's true. It's true.
Hey, by the way, it's late night special!
Bill McKinley. Good sir. Oh my God, what a great monologue. Did you love it?
Yeah.
Did you like it? Okay.
I thought, it was hit or miss.
Yeah,
Jay, it was hit or miss, let's face it. But they're all still sitting there being like, I really don't want to think about it.
Yeah.
So. I just went, now you just reminded me of it again.
Oh.
Jay, what's new? We haven't seen each other in forever.
Oh my God, well, it's Easter. Easter's tomorrow.
Yeah.
Passover, Seder, anybody into that? Yeah. I'm getting them all tonight. The thing about Seder is I want to go to a Seder.
The Seders are great.
Seders are great. I hear all these great things about it, and once upon a time somebody told me, and I believed them, or they believed it, and I just took it as fact, that in a Seder ceremony there's like a role for a Gentile, like one Gentile. And so I was always like, I want to be that Gentile.
The designated Gentile.
Yeah, and so then my Jewish housemate one time was like, oh, and I was talking about Seders, like I want to go to Seder sometime, like will you get me in, will you please? And
you know somebody, huh?
I mean, I was like, I want to experience this. And he was like, yeah, I'll get you in a Seder. And I was like, I'll be the one Gentile. And he was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And I was like, I'll be the one, never mind.
I am Syrian Orthodox, or was raised Syrian Orthodox. So first of all, our Easter isn't for another week. The math is all different. But it's very close to Judaism, except for the Jesus part. Because Orthodox Christianity is like the oldest, so this like all of the masses and the temple are very similar. But so I married a Jew, and I'd go to temple all the time. And at the Seder, they have a Seder, and I'm Syrian. They actually have a song they sing. It's like, it was the Syrians that, it's the Laki that kept the Syrians away, is the lyric.
And you're like,
And I was like, thanks for inviting me. Very uncomfortable for me.
I don't want to be that role.
Fair enough.
But I've been in Florida. I just did a show at Eckerd College. Anybody? Yeah, okay. No, I did a show. It was great. And then I also got to go down to Sarasota to do a show at the Florida Studio Theater. Give it up for Florida Studio Theater.
They were great.
It's okay, yeah. But a magical thing happened where we didn't have a car, and we were like, do we rent a car? Do we try and do like Toro? And there wasn't a Toro car, and we're gonna Uber down or something. And we're like about ready to Uber, like a 45-minute Uber ride, which was not a good idea, but we're gonna do it. And then this gentleman who had visited me last weekend was there. He saw me on the side of the street, pulled over, and was like, oh my God, here you are. I gave him a hug, whatever. And then I was like, I don't really know you well enough to ask this, but can I borrow your car? And he said, okay.
What I love about you, Jay, you're always like, why not ask?
Why not ask?
Yeah.
He was like,
People
I'm
say
going out
no.
to dinner and drinking, and I'm not driving tonight. Yes, you can use my car. And just like picked us, me and 3 strangers, picked us up, took us to his home, gave us the keys, and we just drove to Sarasota.
That's amazing.
It was incredible.
The Smothers brothers live there, or at least one of them does. The Smothers. I ate half a gummy before I came. So.
Yeah.
So, the fact that it's our 420 show made me think of a story that I wanted to tell you.
Oh, please.
So my dad, was very square, hardworking, engineer, rarely drank. We used to be able to steal alcohol out of the liquor cabinet because my parents would never really notice. And I smoked weed for several years, never got caught, and I would always say to my friends, oh, I can always use that, I tried it, and I didn't like it, and I'll never do it again, like that was in my pocket, and in case I got caught. And
you want to know what was in my pocket?
What?
Have you ever done drugs? And I was like, yeah, like Tylenol and ibuprofen. That was my, never mind. Okay, never mind.
Jay, you were very good, very good boy. And I'd come back from canoeing with my friend Bill and raid the fridge. It was obvious I was having munchies.
Canoeing, number 1.
Yeah, and my parents had no idea. And then for Thanksgiving, I slept in the refinished basement in our little ranch house, and we'd have 50 people over for Thanksgiving. So they'd move everything to the other side of the basement, and I was doing my homework, reading The Little Prince in French. So I was really proud of myself for doing homework the day before Thanksgiving. And all of a sudden my dad comes downstairs and he's like, I found this when we were moving your bureau. And he throws a box of Marlboro Lights because he knew I'd smoked cigarettes. And I was like, huh. And I opened it and there was a roach at the bottom. It was an empty box of cigarette where I was saving a roach. Because back then weed was expensive. And you save all your roaches and you roll them into another joint.
What a story!
Yeah. And I was like, oh shit. My dad's like, I thought it was marijuana, but your sister told me it's roach. And I was like, oh no, now I need to explain that I know what that means.
Roach.
And or else he thinks I'm smoking some crazy ass new drug that he's never heard of. Dad, a roach is a burnt down marijuana cigarette. And he's like, shows how much I know about these things. And then he walked away and was just disappointed for weeks.
Aww.
It's like the worst kind of punishment there is a sad dad.
A sad dad. Sad dad. I never was caught. I never was caught.
And I tried. I was like, I tried it and I didn't like it. They were like,
Roach.
We find it very hard to believe that the first time we caught you is the first time you did it. And I was like, damn it.
Damn it, yeah.
It's like all their denial lifted and all those moments locked in, when your denial veil raises and all your intuitions are confirmed. Oh, it's a dark time. It's 420!
Yeah! Oh my God, I'm excited about this 420 show. This is our 15th late night special, ladies and gentlemen.
15!
Ladies and gentlethems.
Ladies and gentlethems, or friends and lovers.
Friends and lovers.
So we do have to take a break for a word from our sponsor. We have a new sponsor this week, Jay. I didn't have a chance to tell you about it. But ladies and gentlemen, please welcome, ladies and gentlethems, please welcome our sponsor, a word from our sponsor, Carl.
Thank you. It's 6 a.m. The kids have been
awake for an hour at this point. Hell, they've probably broken everything in the house. The dogs have crapped on the floor. Your mother-in-law is staying with us, and Lord knows she's wet the bed again.
Fiddlesticks.
School starts at 8 a.m. sharp. Traffic is gonna be a nightmare. You can just tell already. And your boss is a narcissistic ass clown. Seemingly nothing will go right today except for one thing: breakfast. That's right, breakfast. The most important meal of the day. The last thing you have control over in your otherwise mundane and meaningless life. Something that your nagging wife, Tina, can't take from you in the divorce. Breakfast. You need something fit for a dad, fit for a boss, fit for a man, something full of protein and complex carbohydrates, something that is guaranteed to supercharge your morning and make sure that you get at least one thing right today. What are you waiting for? The kids can be late to school today, so just swing by your local Long John Silver's and pick up some of our new breakfast cod. Yes, you heard me correct. Boiled cod isn't just for dinner anymore, it's for every meal of the day. Oh, what, you wanted some sort of bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich on a croissant? You can suck a bag of farts. You want fish. The man's breakfast. What better way to start your day than popping into your local Long John Silver's, grabbing a hot plate of boiled cod, and knowing that when you show up to work 35 minutes late, smelling like hot mud flats or a commercial crab boat, you can walk right up to your boss, Howard, and say, "Go fuck yourself, Howard. I had fish today." Fish. It's breakfast now.
Give it up for Carl. It's what The Rock eats. The Rock eats 5 times a day, cod. It's true.
Gross.
In fairness, though, you can always smell what he's cooking now.
Hey, Jay, I feel like some music.
You feel like music in your heart and your body?
Yeah, and in my ears. Let's bring out our musical guest. This is a performer, plays all over town, does all kinds of wonderful projects, is going to be performing tonight. Ladies and gentlemen.
Wait.
Ladies and...
Is this a legendary performer?
This person is fantastical, magnificent,
And has great shoes.
and is the legendary Mark Peter Savage!
Thank you. Could you keep clapping for my band, the legendary Mark Peter Savage? Thank you. I'm losing my looks. I'm losing my looks. I leave them everywhere, every place I've been. Shed them like a skin. They're on the floor now. I'm losing my looks. I'm losing my looks. They're being taken by crooks. Losing my looks. I lost one on my first day at school. I lost two when I first held a real job. Down, down, down. I'm losing my looks. I'm losing my looks. I'm losing losing my looks every day. What do you do when you walk into the room and you see a piece of Mark's discarded face on the floor? You pick it up, you cut it into slices, you sell it on the internet to collectors in Japan who pay high prices. There's a part of me in everyone's history, but who sees the profits? Not me, no. I'm losing my looks. I'm losing my looks. They're being taken by crooks. I'm losing my looks. 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 That's right. If you've never been pretty, you might not understand the time and his tactics are so underhand. I'm losing my looks. I'm losing my looks. Who's with me? Who's with me? I'm losing my looks. Thank you.
Yeah!
Thank you.
Legendary Mark Peter Savage. You can come on over. That was great.
It was.
As soon as his mic gets turned on, he's gonna come over and chat with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on over. Mark Savage. Mark Savage.
Hello, hello.
Hello. Is it
Hello.
on? Is it on? Are you on?
Is it on? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
No?
I think so.
Yeah?
There it is.
Yeah, there it is.
You can hear it now.
Hi.
How are
I'm
you?
well, how are you?
I am well.
Yeah?
Yeah, that was wonderful.
Thank
I very
you.
much enjoy your moves.
Oh, thank you.
It moves like Jagger.
That's all I have.
I like these shoes. Good God.
Oh, yeah, I have
Give
these
him a round of
too.
Yeah,
applause.
those are spectacular.
Thank you.
So
Yeah, I
you're-
found these
yeah.
in Buffalo Exchange.
Oh, really?
Or, I mean, other thrift stores are available, right? Are they a sponsor?
They're not a sponsor,
Yeah, Buffalo
but
Exchange. Is anyone out here who's got big feet? Like size 12 or 13? Yeah, right.
Yeah?
Maybe they're yours because I found these. They'd never been worn. I want them back. Yeah.
you can't
They cost
have
me
them.
$22.
That's not bad.
I know. It's not bad.
Definitely
So,
worth
judging by the way you talk, you're Portland native.
That's right. I've been here. I've
One
been
of
here
the
for 11 years, which makes me the longest serving Portlander, I think.
Yeah.
Is that right? No one here can beat that.
Yeah. And you do lots of fun things. You play in a lot of different groups.
Yeah.
What are some of your musical projects? Let's
Oh,
start there.
well, I do this kind of thing, dancing around. I host a show of my own. Not as prolific as you. You do this every week, don't you?
Every fucking week.
So I do a show called The Mind Meld, which used to be every month, but that was too much work.
I know.
It's a lot of work. It's a
So
lot
it's
of work.
every 2 months or so,
That's perfect.
and it's in my house, so I don't have to go.
Even better.
Yeah.
See,
so-
that is the epitome of Portland, though. Is like,
I know.
what can I do that doesn't take too much work, but is super cool?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that sounds great. So what's, is it music? Is it house music? or
It's
you do a
it's
variety?
music. We have poets. We have improv. We have all kinds of people show up and try things. The goal is to not have lots of the same thing altogether.
So like a variety
yeah,
show.
Exactly. Like 5 poets. You know, they might be 5 great poets. 5 punk bands. They might be great, but you know, a punk band and a poet. You know.
It's way cooler.
It's not original, but you know.
That's what, like, to me, that was more like old Portland. When I first moved here in like 1998, 99.
You laying your
left and then it
credentials
came back.
down. Yeah.
Yeah. Just so you know,
Yeah.
I've been here a lot longer than you know.
Just so you know, I'm actually from here. So.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, you're from Gresham.
Yeah,
Jay,
that's
so
not real.
That's totally different.
Don't Gresham shame him.
Oh,
Fair.
I will.
No, please do.
Did
Please
you hear
do.
him talk about Tylenol as a drug?
That's fair.
Oh, the ham.
But I was actually living in Eugene, and I'd come up and visit, and that's what made me fall in love with Portland. Is that down on Killingsworth, like from MLK, Killingsworth down that way, there used to be some just empty buildings, and people would put these big variety events on, and
Yeah.
they'd have a theme, and they'd like a travel one, and there'd be maps all hanging, installations of maps, and then bands singing songs about travel, and poets and theater, and then there was a science one, and it had all kinds of science things. So that's just one of my favorite things is when different artists all come together.
Yeah,
And
agreed. Yeah.
that's awesome. Do you host that?
Yeah, with my wife, Pat Janowski, who is here as well.
Yeah, she is awesome as
Yeah.
well. Pat,
I think we
give
should
it back.
clap,
Yeah. She knows a thing or two about variety shows as
She does.
well.
She does.
She's done stuff. And Foley. She's a Foley artist, which is pretty freaking cool.
Mm-hmm.
So do you host that? You host that show? What do you want to give everyone your home address and phone number?
Yeah.
It's a secret location in southeast Portland.
Okay, great. They can.
Come ask me after the show.
Okay, great.
Find me on Instagram. If I decide you don't look too shady,
Yeah.
then maybe you'll get an invite.
No
Yeah.
creeps.
No creeps.
And just
Yeah.
follow the sound of the kazoo.
That's right.
That's great. And you also write reviews.
I have a book that should be published this year, which is a collection of reviews of movies that don't exist.
Example?
Oh, good. Yeah, examples. That's a good. Yeah. Well, the first one in the book is a movie called The Mesmer, which
But I have seen that.
you think you've seen it. It was destroyed in a fire in 1894. So you've probably seen some kind of
Apocalypto
TV
by
remake.
Mel Gibson. Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
It's slightly different.
Slightly
thought
different.
it
Yeah,
was.
I haven't even seen it, but I think I'm the authority on it. So
So
I've written
wait.
the book.
So are these movies that did exist and no longer
No.
exist that you've made them all up?
Made them all up.
That's pretty fun.
Yeah. Some
You were
of them
like,
could
you know
exist.
what I'm gonna do?
Yeah.
I'm gonna write a book
Yeah.
where I'm gonna write reviews about movies.
Yeah.
And rather than like make a movie.
Yeah, right. That's interesting. It's interesting you say that.
Would any of these make great movies?
I think many of them would be fantastic movies. Some of them are actually impossible
That's-
because they star dead people.
Well, when
Okay.
you do reviews, are they like some of them like, this is a bad one,
Yeah.
this is a good one?
This is the dumbest premise for a movie
Yeah.
anyone has ever thought of.
Oh boy, please,
Yeah.
let's see this.
Yeah, who wrote this?
Well,
Exactly,
that is awesome.
exactly,
And
yeah.
do you perform around town as well?
Occasionally, if you can get me out of the house.
Okay.
Yeah, like tonight was, it's a long drive from Southeast.
From Southeast.
Yeah.
but I
Yeah,
made
that's
it.
real
It's a
Portland.
long
too.
drive from Gresham.
Right?
Yeah. Well, fantastic.
Yeah.
It is such a pleasure to meet you.
Thank
We're
you.
going to have you
Likewise.
back to
Yes.
sing another song
Yeah.
later. But everybody, please give a round of applause for Mark Savage. Thank you so much. Kat, what a doll. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you are. And how lucky is he to have you? Yeah, no, for real. All right. Sorry, just having a moment with my friend Pat over there. We haven't seen him probably 10 years. All right. How are you, Jay?
I'm still here.
Yeah. Isn't he adorable?
Yeah, he's great. I like that three-piece suit.
Yeah, it was great. Very
Or was it three?
stylish.
Was it two-piece, three-piece?
I think it was 3.
I really liked it.
Good. Well, it is. We like this show to not just be entertaining, but also very educational. Keep you very informed about things in the world. And today, especially 420 related show, we have a very important public service announcement. Please put your hands together for one of our writers, Kat Buckley.
Sure, 420 is a holiday all about weed. But if you're an edgy middle school student, you know it's also Hitler's birthday. And with the rise of groups and actual Nazis, it's important to remember the terrible atrocities this horrible dictator has committed. I, of course, am talking about the fact that Hitler was a shitty painter.
Yeah.
And I can say this, I have an art history degree. Normally, I lie and tell people I dropped out, which is somehow less embarrassing. But what I'm saying is I'm qualified to speak on the subject, and Hitler was a shitty painter. He was awful. Not only was he rejected from art school twice, his paintings were described as his teachers as grim and devoid of life, and a real fucking bummer by everyone else.
That's so stupid. It's so stupid.
Thank you, Jayne. I mean, just look at this painting. Look at this reject of a Stephen King backdrop. It looks like an I Spy painting where you're trying to find where they buried the body. And this one's not much better. You can just tell these two people are judging how hot everyone in the room is. And they are found wanting. This looks like an album cover for two grown men who eventually get caught sending dick pics to underage girls.
True.
Featuring Drake. And come on, how did Hitler manage to turn a drawing of a dog into a police sketch? Thank you. I'd also like to point out this is a German Shepherd, because if there was one thing Hitler was good at, it was subtlety. There are two things Hitler was very into painting, though. He very much loved painting buildings. How much so? 9 buildings. He liked painting 9 buildings. The other thing... I'm sorry.
I love it.
The other thing he liked painting was Disney fan art. And this is true. I never knew that 12-year-old me and Hitler would have so much in common. And not only did he like painting Disney fan art, he liked painting sexy Disney fan art. Yes, feast your eyes on this. This is not a tracing Hitler did. This is not a coloring Hitler did. This is original content, people. And it is amazing. I take back everything I ever said about him being a shitty painter. This is gold. I mean, that dwarf clearly fucks, right? He knows you've had a bad day at work, so you just kick your feet up and let Bashful do all the work. That's right, this dwarf's name is Bashful. You know, the way that I get bashful after I've had 3 vodka sodas and Genuine comes on. It's so sexy, I'm surprised it's not even the new Nazi mascot. Look at that. Feast your eyes on that. And you tell me that's not the fairest one of all. And so, as you're hitting your bongs and you're smoking your joints, just remember that the most terrible, fear-mongering dictator in the world definitely masturbated to minor Disney characters. Just like you. Happy 420!
Wow. Pat Buckley. I love Pat Buckley.
It was all true.
Yeah, edgy.
So you guys laughed when I said when I said you're going to learn something tonight, but you did. You know what else has happened other than 420? It's been Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I watched it.
Yeah, did you?
I did. It's all set up, but I loved it.
By round of applause, who's a Game of Thrones fan here? Excellent. Well, we're going to take a second and do a little Game of Thrones trivia.
Against me?
So, are you good at Game of Thrones?
I mean, I'm up to date and I read all the books.
Great. Bill, you a Game of Thrones fan?
No.
Great. So
Don't have
Jay
HBO,
versus Bill.
Okay.
Do we need anyone else or no one?
No, we'll save that. We have another game that we can invite somebody up
okay.
for. But
Sit
we're just
down.
going to start with our Game of Thrones. Just a few questions for Game of Thrones. Are you ready, Anthony? Do you need Yeah, okay, great. Here we go. Game of Thrones quiz.
That was yes in Middle Earth.
Yeah.
I mean, never mind.
Westeros.
Westeros.
I know that. I've seen like 2 episodes, lifetime.
I'm gonna do real good.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Bill has 1 and Jay has 9. How many extras were used in Northern Ireland, the show's primary filming location?
I would say like 500 plus.
The answer is 12,986.
That's a lot.
Wow.
Yeah.
It is a lot of extras. I'm sure it made a significant effect on the economy there.
That's
Oh, yeah.
the whole country.
Yeah, pretty much. How many bags of paper snow were used over the 8 seasons? 3, more than 1. Great guesses.
Heaps.
Bill?
You know nothing, paper snow.
All right.
Uh,
The
20,000.
answer is 52,000
Wow.
bags of snow. H-Field's got money, y'all. Okay,
That's a heap.
how many gallons of artificial blood were used over the 8 seasons?
Oh my God. The size of the Mediterranean Ocean.
It's a sea, not an ocean.
God damn it, Bill.
Sorry.
It's a trick question because it was 4,000 gallons, but real blood. They only use real human blood on the show. That's it.
That's
They
not-
just-
Wait,
That's
even
not true.
even for dragons?
It's all real human. You guys don't believe me. It's real human
Wow.
blood.
Is that illegal?
That's Is this from Wikipedia?
How many dicks were chopped off to make the Unsullied Army?
Oh,
80,000.
that's a lot of. I'm just looking at the picture. That's a lot of dicks.
80,000.
80,001.
Okay, also a trick question because a eunuch does not have their dick cut off. They have their testicles removed, and for the show, they did castrate 20,000 men.
HBO has money.
20,000 men.
But the Unsullied.
It just goes to show if you have money, people will do anything. And 20,000, how much would it cost for you?
Don't ask me that question ever. But
Actually, it must be approximately 10,000 men because that's the number of testicles that were removed.
But
Okay.
I have a problem with that question because the Unsullied aren't eunuchs. It's the pillar and the balls. Yeah.
Wait, it's everything?
It's
in there?
everything. There is a eunuch, Varys, but the Unsullied they take everything
Oh,
and they make
shit.
you strangle a dog.
How did I miss that part?
You didn't. Well, it's in the book. There's more
it's
stuff in the book.
more.
Yeah,
Okay, this is based on the show. That's why it's so accurate. Last question. How many boobs were revealed over the 8 seasons of the show?
Oh my God, so many.
How many boobs? Not pairs of boobs. How many boobs total?
6,000.
11.
Yeah. Bill, you are the closest, but you're still over 5.
5? Really?
Only 5. They just keep showing the same boobs over and over.
Do they
That's
do
our
different
Game
combinations?
Of Thrones
Okay.
I love how angry you were all getting at the bullshit at the beginning because you thought I actually was trying to make it true. Everybody's like, no!
How dare you?
It's gonna be good. It's gonna be so good. I can't wait. I'm into it.
Into the, yeah.
I'm into Game of Thrones. Yeah.
You don't need to get defensive about it.
I'm just
Jay.
Bill's. He's in my ear.
I'm not just in your ear.
See.
I'm in your head.
Shit, you guys, I told you we would talk after the show.
Okay.
Hug it out. Go hug it out. Yay! Peace and love, it's a holiday. Speaking of holiday,
That was a 420 hug.
that was a 420 hug. It was lovely. We have another guest coming out here, a Budtender, a marketing person,
A delight.
a delight from my favorite dispensary in town. Please welcome Aaron Heisler from Jayne Dispensary. Hi, come on out.
Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for doing the Lord's work.
Yeah.
It's a tough job, but somebody's got to sit on the couch and kind of do something.
Yeah, it's so nice to have you. You're such a delight.
Thank you so much.
You really are. You've been super supportive of Curious, which is also something that is in line with Jayne. You support a lot of stuff in the community.
Yeah, we do a lot of charity work, trying to sell weed and not be assholes at the same time. That's kind of part of that whole game. But we do.
How nice.
Yeah.
Like, what do you do? Well, we sell weed and we support cool stuff that we enjoy. That's a
I only
nice
like
life.
asshole stoners.
There's plenty of those around still.
There's weed for everybody.
What?
Yeah, well, I enjoy weed, Jay.
I love it every day.
Yeah, you do much more than I do. How about you, Bill?
A little bit. Like I haven't in years, but yeah.
You mentioned earlier.
Oh yeah, so I didn't actually ever smoke weed until the manager of my old improv group back in Ohio, who was she was a woman who was a hairdresser, but she was a hairdresser for a mortuary. So it was mostly she was doing at the Schrödinger funeral home downtown. It was like the dead people's hair, and we would sit on her porch. And I was in my 27. I was just going through some shit, and she's like, hey, you want some of this? And I'm like, yeah, sure. Luckily there was a White Castle really close to her. So we just sat on her porch, ate White Castles, and drank some Little Kings. So.
Yeah, that's pretty great.
Yeah, it's a pretty good time.
Have you ever smoked pies? Like, yeah, I did back in the day with a lady who does hair for dead people.
Yeah, Mary Jo.
You know what? This week, all beehives.
Yeah.
I've decided.
Have you been part of Jayne since the very beginning?
I have not. I moved here from a little town just north of Des Moines, Iowa, about 2.5 years ago.
Okay.
Not huge fans of weed back in Iowa.
It's
would have that.
not legal there yet?
It is not at all. Well, that's a lie. The governor that existed in the 80s became governor again, and then Trump sent him to China to be an ambassador because, Des Moines has 3 Chinese restaurants, so he has some experience.
He knows.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The last thing that he did as governor for the second time was to legalize medical weed.
Oh.
But you can't actually have real weed. It's kind of pointless and dumb.
And did you specifically come here to work in the weed industry, and
Yeah.
that was your jam?
Yeah, my sister went to Lewis and Clark for grad school.
What a stoner.
Yeah, no, well, she's actually, she's the sober one of us all.
Okay.
Well, soberist.
So she's the narc, is what you're saying. Got it.
She was cool, but she got her leverage out of us for keeping the secrets. So she married a local, got married out here right as I was finishing up college, and I moved out here and decided, you know what, fuck grad school, I want to come sell weed. And so got in my car on a Tuesday in Des Moines and drove out here on Thursday and fell into Jayne, which, lucky, cool group of people to luckily fall in with.
Yeah, and Jayne supports our All Jayne Comedy Festival.
Yep.
Yeah, has anybody been to All Jayne? Just those several people?
Mm-hmm.
Every year in September, October, we do an All Women's Comedy Festival, and that's just you guys support a lot of women-centric things as well.
Yep.
There's female art all in the store?
Well, it's actually, there's a dozen of us, top to bottom, mostly, there's only 4 dudes that work there out of the dozen. But just happened to have one of our folks that's just an incredibly talented artist. Management is all female, which makes life pretty simple, truth be told. A lot less stressful than other places I've worked in the past. We just, again, try to be engaged in community. It's not the easiest in the cannabis industry because of the fact that cannabis is still federally illegal. There is the specific tax codes that were written to lock up Jimmy Hoffa and stuff still play out. So when we do charity work, we don't actually get deducted that from taxes, just out of the goodness of our heart.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Hey.
Well, I don't know.
It's crazy. In Massachusetts, they've just made recreational marijuana legal, and they don't have enough weed.
Yeah, no.
And we have a surplus.
That's exactly what I was going to ask you about. How is Jayne dealing with the surplus?
So, Jayne, Jayne deals with the surplus by having cheap weed. Truth be told how that functions. I actually work with another group called the Oregon Retailers of Cannabis Association. I work with a lot of folks in industry at present, but we actually have legislation that got through committee and is on the House floor to set up an infrastructure to allow Oregon to export its weed to other states.
It would be so smart.
Yeah, well, and that's really been a big thing that a lot of folks in industry, the way that the industry was set up was to give all of the, an economist that's from Oregon that works specifically in the cannabis space estimates that there's about like 75% of the national demand of cannabis has been coming out of Southern Oregon for the past like 50 years, give or take.
Wow.
And so
Makes a lot of sense.
yeah, it does. It does. It was a fun thing that I learned when I moved out here. But that's really kind of the deal is that it's
And
not.
the rest is from BC, Canada.
Yeah, Northern California grows some weed.
Oh,
But
yeah,
they got a
yeah,
lot of
that's
people
right.
there that smoke a lot of
That's
that
right.
weed also.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
that may stay in-house a little bit more there. It's been a really cool process that the state legislature actually is recognizing that, hey, like, this is something that is of value to Oregon as a state.
Yeah.
And if we don't set things up properly to be able to compete on a national level, it's going to not be great for everybody. There's a lot of Canadians in town at present.
Yeah. And as soon as it became legal, one of my roommates ordered some seeds, threw them in the ground, and then left town for several months. And I would send pictures, and literally every 3 days it would double in size. I just never seen anything.
Yeah.
Like, we're made to grow weed
For real.
here.
Well, and especially Southern Oregon. It was an interesting conversation when I first moved to town. There was a woman that worked at the shop with us that she was from Humboldt County, which Emerald Triangle is what they've called that forever. There's a lot of nationally folks think that shitloads of weed comes from there. And that was one of the things that she mentions, that literally over the course of the 20 years that she'd been growing weed down there, that was one of the things that's most notable about global warming, is that the best environment for cannabis has shifted up to Southern Oregon.
Wow.
Just because of the fact that it's getting a little warmer around the middle.
Amazing. I just love that it's legal, because I'm particular. I want to be able to know and what my experience is going to be. And I'm going to tell you a quick story. So when I grew up, I started smoking weed when I was probably 15, so everybody was talking about. And no joke, this is how entrepreneurial I was back in the day. It was hard to find.
Yep.
So girlfriend of mine, we would take her mother's car. She was a year older. I couldn't even drive yet. When her mother was around, we'd take her car and we'd drive to the neighboring city, which was in disrepair at the time. We would get all of our friends to give us $40, so we'd have enough money to buy half a pound.
Yep.
And then we'd drive there, a 15-year-old girl, a 16-year-old girl, pick up a guy on the corner, let him get in the car, drive him to a second location, give him our cash. He'd go in, he'd get the weed, come back, and give it to us.
See, and people are concerned about Tinder now.
Yeah. It was
Jesus.
Sorry.
It was like the weed equivalent of a back alley abortion.
Wow. It's the Chelmsford Buyers Club.
They give it to you on coat hanger.
It was so
Jesus.
dangerous. It was so dangerous.
Yeah,
But
that's
we
crazy.
just, and then we didn't even fucking upsell it.
Yeah,
We lost money on the baggies. We divided it up.
I never noticed it before I started working in the dispensary, but Ziploc, on their little bags, they say sandwich right on the side, and I cannot wait until they actually call it what it is, where it just says weed on the edge of it. That'll be a nice day.
Where it's that normalized.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well, there's such an excess here in the Pacific Northwest of, and there's just cannabis everywhere. When I was in Florida, I walked out, and my Airbnb host was just he had a bowl and he had a jar, and I was just like, give me some of that. It was for everyone. And I could tell he was a little yeah, I guess so. This precious substance.
It took me 3 months to find this.
I know, yeah. This is not good, and I just and then
And he's sweeping it back up.
Yeah,
and putting it in there.
I was just
Motherfucker.
I was talking with some friends of mine about that the other day, especially, life has been going very well at our dispensary, so a lot of folks will come in and companies can drop off trade samples to us so that we can try that out.
Right.
And so as I've been transitioning to work for that other organization, just other things kind of throughout industry, I'm not working in the shop as frequently, so I don't get the random free weed samples. But I was talking with somebody about that the other day, about how like I got weed and I just threw it away. Like there was a point in my life where like I was scrounging through my car to find little pieces of weed.
I was saving roaches in my drawer.
Well, especially in Iowa, like Jesus, like twice a year at least, no weed to be found for like a month at a time. Like it just does not exist. And so that was actually kind of an interesting thing when I moved out here. It was right when OLCC had taken over, so about a year into legalization. And there every now and again, there would be some old school, black market person that would come in and just be like, looked at me all pissed off, like, you know that you're ruining weed culture. I can't believe I have to pay $40 for this eighth of weed. And I'd look them right in the eyes and be like, fuck off. The rest of the world, like it's $60 for an eighth of weed in Iowa still, and it's garbage. Like it is real bad.
Right.
It's bad in Florida too.
Yeah. Amsterdam. I went to Amsterdam this summer, and they have terrible weed. Horrible weed.
You're ruining the opportunity for a 16-year-old to hand her friend a bag of weed and have them go, this isn't that Windex batch, is it?
Kids out here worried that it's not, like it's not oregano, it's just shitty weed. Like it's technically weed, but it's shitty.
All right. Well, who out here would say that you have a lot of knowledge about marijuana? Anybody?
I'm looking
Anybody?
at you,
You
right?
do?
You.
What's your name? Sam? Yes. Come on up, Sam.
Yes.
Give it up for Sam!
Sam up. We're going to play a little game. Just come on and have a seat next to me over here. We're going to... Oh, man, you're
Thank you.
high, Sam.
Yes.
420 We're doing it right. We're doing it right. All right, unlike the Game of Thrones trivia, this is actually based in truth. So I'll ask the questions and we'll see. And Bill, you can play along as well.
Okay. Let's see if the narc scores points.
And this is a game we call Cannabisivia. Trivia about cannabis.
It sounds like the Jamie Lee Curtis yogurt, honestly.
It also kind of sounds like what's the
Sativa.
strand? Sativa.
That's what I thought.
Who wrote this? They're great.
Thank you. I did.
You
I did
did?
that part.
Okay.
But Bill now ruined it with the Jamie Lee Curtis association.
Sorry.
Ruined it
That's all
or
right.
made it better.
That's all right. That's the first thing that pops into your head, Bill. Okay, you ready? First question. Which one of these is not a real strain? A, redheaded stranger. B, Alaskan Thunder fuck. C, soul assassin. Or D, sauerkraut express.
A.
You think A, redheaded stranger?
Redheaded stranger.
Aaron?
I'm going with D.
All right.
I'm also going with D. I want it to be A, but I know it's not.
I have a fun story about Alaskan Thunder fuck, though.
Yeah, me too.
I'm guessing D.
All right, the answer is D, sauerkraut
Yeah! Nobody wants to
express.
smoke sauerkraut.
What is your story about Alaskan Thunderfuck, Aaron?
Our dispensary, we try to be accessible to all and not be, too pushy about weed and, thunderfucks. We got that strain. We labeled it ATF just for the sake of we have a lot of folks.
There are minors in there. No.
Yeah, no, definitely not that.
It's in the kids section. Yeah.
Truth be told, there are a number of sweet, in their 60s women that come into the shop.
Yeah.
And I was super excited for the first time that some sweet little old lady would come in and ask what ATF was. About 2 weeks into us having on the shelf, it happened. She had to be an attorney, just very powerful woman, but she goes, what's ATF? And I was like, I've been waiting for this for 2 weeks. It's Alaskan Thunderfuck. And she just looks at me and goes, well, I asked.
I got to meet Alaska Thunderfuck, the drag queen.
The one from
RuPaul's Drag Race, yeah.
Amazing. All right,
That's my
number
story.
2. Which celebrity does not have a strain named after them? A, Michael Phelps, B, Oprah, C, Obama, D, Carl Sagan.
Ooh.
Michael Phelps. A.
Let's go to you, Bill, because Aaron's got some inside information.
I'm gonna guess Oprah.
I am also gonna guess Oprah.
Aaron?
I too am gonna guess Oprah.
All right, the answer is Oprah.
Yeah!
You're fucking crushing it. You're doing great.
If
You're
there
doing
were,
great, Sam. This is exactly what you're supposed to do.
He's the
I'm
winner,
for two.
right?
There.
if there was a
This is
strand,
awesome. You're
What
going
is
to win
this?
big prizes
if there
no
was
matter
a
what,
strand
Sam.
named
You're
after
doing great.
Oprah, she would sue the shit out of that. That was my tell.
That
I was
is
like,
actually-
There's weed under your chairs!
Obama's like, I don't like it.
Forgot to put it there.
Aaron, why didn't you bring us weed to put under everybody's chairs? We
If you
can't
would
have it
all
in
like
here.
to write the OLCC
Yeah,
sampling rules, I'd be more than happy.
I know. Can't have it in here, otherwise we'd be giving y'all weed. Okay, number 3. Which one of these is not slang used for weed? A, green fog. B, righteous bush. C, devil's lettuce. D, burritos verdes.
It is not slang.
This question's wrong because I'm gonna call it all of these things.
Yeah.
Sam, you have as good a chance as anybody on this one.
Righteous Bush.
All right.
I'm going burritos verdes.
I'm gonna go green fog. That sounds too Marvel.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with righteous bush. Yeah.
All right, it is A, green fog.
Yeah.
Well played.
Yeah.
Sam, you're crushing it on consistency, buddy.
Yeah.
You're doing great. You're doing great.
Thank
Okay,
you,
well, we have a
thank you.
couple more. Which president's name is used as slang to describe poor quality weed being sold as high quality weed? A, Andrew Jackson. B, George Bush. C, Richard Nixon. D, Ronald Reagan.
Ronald Reagan.
I'm going with Sam. Ronald Reagan.
I'm going definitely B, George Bush.
Andrew Jackson because he's on the 20.
It is Richard Nixon.
Oh, wow!
Oh.
Wow!
I'm open.
Sam, you get a point for that because everybody else was wrong too.
Yeah.
5. Which stoner movie quote is not real? A, dude, am I really high or is this actually working? B, I thought hurricane season was over. C, get down from that tree, bro. Or D, it'd be a lot cooler if you did.
I thought hurricane season was over.
I love you so hard, Sam.
I'm guessing it's not B.
No, I
I'm
just
going
love
to get down from that tree, bro.
Get down from that tree.
I'm gonna jump in. I'm gonna jump in the joint with you on B.
B, hurricane season?
D, it'd be a lot cooler if you did.
I even
Okay, you're vetoing this? You're vetoing this? Fine. B, I thought hurricane season was over. There.
Okay. It is get down from that tree.
Yeah!
Oh, Aaron,
Who knew?
you
No idea.
are
That was
correct.
double
I even did a little Matthew McConaughey. Did you hear it when I ran it? I was doing it. It'd be a lot cooler if you did. All right. Lightning round. Okay, you guys are gonna go thumbs up if it's real, thumbs down if it's fake. CBD products that exist. You guys can yell too if you want. Thumbs up if you think it's real, thumbs down if you think it's fake. CBD fast food hamburger.
Real.
Real, we talked about it. Yes, CBD wool socks.
Yes.
Yes.
No.
Real.
Yeah.
CBD
heard about
sunglasses.
No.
No.
Fake, that is fake. CBD organic lube.
Real. Very real.
Everybody. That was the most female response. It
Thank
was
you all
all
for
women
inviting
and
me.
it was all yeah. That was awesome. And for the guys, CBD toupee. No. CBD sparkling water.
Yes.
Yeah.
CBD mascara.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, there is CBD
Really?
mascara.
Yeah.
But why bother when you can get it through your lube? YouTube.
If your eye wasn't lazy enough already.
Last one, CBD Q-tips.
Yeah.
That is fake.
Yeah.
And that is cannabisevia. Please give it up for Sam. Sam, you can get 2 free tickets to come back if there is anytime. You're the winner. Thank you so much. If you'll use those stairs, go down that way. So you know. And please, everybody, Aaron Heisler. Thank you so much. Hopefully we'll see you soon.
Yeah.
Oh boy, we're getting near the end of another wonderful show.
yes. Well, you know that I'm into yoga, and my yoga studio has a weed class.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so that you come and they smoke you out, and then you do yoga. It's very real.
And he just said that at Jayne they did that as well.
That's
They went to
awesome.
the Jupiter Hotel. 100 people smoked weed and then went and did yoga at the
did
Jupiter
yoga,
Hotel.
yeah.
So check that out.
They were trying to get me to go.
All right, so we know you're all high. So before we bring out Mark again for one more song, I don't know if you guys, Bill McKinley, multi-talented
Thank you.
gentleman, one of the smartest and most talented people. Yeah, go ahead, give Bill a nice round of
Thank
applause.
you. Thank you. Thank you.
And Bill is now getting involved in some yoga-type activities and meditation. And so he's created one for 420, little meditation. So if everyone just wants to take a deep breath and give it up for Bill McKinley.
As you get high on this April 20th, we must always remember that there's nothing higher than space. Join me, won't you, on a quest through our cosmos? I'm Bill McKinley. Welcome to Space Meditations. Close your eyes. Breathe slowly and let your mind drift as we explore space. The collective unconscious universe swirls around you, beckoning as you fly through darkness. Let yourself drift further as you contemplate the wonders and mysteries of space. You float up, up, up beyond the treetops, beyond the aeroplanes, beyond the balloons where NASA controls the world's weather. And you float further, further, until you've escaped the bonds of earthly gravity. Your body is weightless, floating until you are dancing with the mechanical satellites that ring our beautiful planet, that bring us closer in connection to our fellow humans. The satellites that the CIA uses to keep track of you at all times. And you float and float far away from all your troubles and cares. You glance down and you see the planet in its perfect form. So majestic, so blue, so flat. And our journey continues ceaselessly toward the heavens. Very faintly in the distance, you see it. Our moon that shines on us so brightly. We float closer, closer until we finally float close enough to orbit it, dancing with the celestial. And we see the perfect, untouched surface of the moon. So serene, so pure, untouched by humans. And we float gently away again, out into the peace and calm of space. And gently we spin and we twirl. We gaze at all the wondrous things out in space. The planets, the stars, the asteroids where the billionaire elites built an entire colony for escape. With their lizard people servants. And we glide back towards the earth. We feel warmer as we get closer to home. We coast over the oceans, the deserts, the plains, the summer homes of those in the Bilderberg Group, powered by the blood of orphans bought on the deep web. And we return gently from space.
Bill McKinley.
Very calming.
It was. We couldn't do it last because you need a minute to gather yourself again and
there's some
drink some more.
subtleties. There's
Drink some water. You'll be sore tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right.
The untouched moon.
The untouched moon, especially when he giggled at his own meditation. Are we
Laughter
ready for
is
some more
meditation.
music, everybody?
Music!
Please welcome back the legendary Mark Peter Savage.
Thank you. They get up in the morning and they know just what to do. They always have a plan and they always see it through. There are men out there. There are men out there. There are men that dress themselves. Men, grown men. That's right, they get up in the morning and they know just what to do. They tell it like it is. If you don't like it, that's on you. There are men that dress themselves. Men, grown men. There are men that dress themselves in real clothes and real shoes, and sometimes uniforms. There are men who do laundry. That's right, there are men who can walk up steep hills. It's true, there are men who can drive automobiles. That's right. And there are men that can dress themselves. It's true, men that dress themselves. Sometimes they dress themselves to put up shelves. Or they dress like elves. Or like wizards, or doctors, or bus drivers, or soldiers, or stand-up comedians, or singers in gold shoes. But one thing you must know is that they did it all by themselves. It's true. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mark Savage,
Thank you.
everybody.